Greetings and welcome to a Prayerful Pause. I'm Nancy Woodworth Hill, a spiritual director and companion, among other things. And today we continue my series on forgiveness. We're going to talk about grief. So life changed radically for me when I learned that a resentment, so last week's video, that I could not completely resolve was likely, and it actually was, grief. So in this segment, let's explore grief. Russ Hudson, another of my mentors, says that grief is not an emotion. It is the heart laid bare to the reality of life. The heart can no longer act as a shield. Francis Weller's book, The Wild Edge of Sorrow, Rituals of Renewal and the Sacred Work of Grief, sets grief into the realm of soul work, as Hudson does. Weller notes that this frees us from an obsession with emotional progress. He claims that we have forgotten the primary language of grief, which offers us a trail leading back to the vitality that is our birthright. In other words, grief calls us to the sacred. Weller asks, how do we learn to carry our grief and not collapse or turn away in denial? He claims that we need to revision grief not as an event, a period of mourning, but as an ongoing conversation that accompanies us throughout life. He suggests an approach of reverence to be in right relationship with sorrow, so not too close, not too far, which takes a sustained practice. So things like journaling, drawing, dance, a whole variety of prayer. And these practices deepen over time when we engage them frequently. Grief work is not passive. We must learn to stay present with ourselves. Weller also discusses what he calls the 5 gates of grief. These are worth looking at, as we often have a limited understanding of grief, which impacts how we hold on to resentments, not understand that they are able to mask grief. The first gate, everything we love, we will lose. This is one of the voices of the soul, asking us to face life's most difficult but essential teaching. Everything is a gift, and nothing lasts. A very painful truth. To accept this fact is to live on life's terms, not denying the simple truth of loss. Grief allows the heart to stay open to the love of those whom we no longer see. When we deny grief's entry into our lives, we begin to compress the breadth of our emotional experience and live shallowly. Grief says, I dared to love. We cannot return to status quo, but we need new stories. The second gate, the places that have not known love. This grief occurs in profoundly tender places, untouched by love, living outside of kindness, compassion, warmth, or welcome, wrapped in shame often, and banished to the farthest shores of our lives. Shame ruptures our connection with life and with our soul, closing the heart to self-compassion. Outcast portions of the soul appear as addictions, depression, anxiety. They call for our attention. Grieving confirms worth. My losses matter. The third gate, the sorrows of the world. This gate opens when we register the losses of the world around us. It's not personal, but communal. It takes everything we have to deny the world's sorrow. And at this gate, we recognize the soul of the world, the anima mundi in Latin, and our intimate connection with the creatures of the world itself. It takes courage, conviction to look at this suffering. The fourth gate, what we expected and didn't receive. This gate calls forward things that we may not even realize we have lost, and we feel the loss as an ache, a vague sadness. It's a primary source of our grief, and one of the reasons we find it difficult to grieve, and slowly evolves into a sense of emptiness. There's no one else in this place, no hands to comfort, no arms to hold and support, and it takes courage to face this emotional vacuum. Facing our emptiness is the key to our freedom. The fifth gate he labels ancestral grief. This grief we carry in our bodies from sorrows experienced by our ancestors. Much lingers in a layer of silence, unacknowledged. The psychic inheritance from our ancestors was meant to be a blessing, a call to life, but instead it is a layer of heaviness. We are surrounded by the ghosts of unwept ancestors. Think of suicide, abandonment, sexuality, addictions. Society recognizes the first gate, leaving the other four virtually untouched, often misdiagnosed as depression. Resentment can cloud grief, getting in the way of forgiveness. Once one has worked with resentment by turning demands to preferences and satisfying objections, if it is not resolved, check to see if what remains is indeed grief. Previous prayerful pauses include a stone ritual and Weller's loving kindness form. Join me next week as we look at situations which may block forgiveness.